Last week was hard, man. I mean, last few days I've spent in the absolute dumps. Dolphins fans, I'm sure you guys have been right there with me. But I took some time, I've thought it over, and the Super Bowl's back on. Super Bowl's back on! Before we get into today's video, guys, I just want to give a special shout out to today's sponsors, starting with Gold Fine and Bowles, lawyers for the injured. Personal injury, workers' compensation, those are their two things, but any sort of legal advice, they're the people to call. Give them a phone call, 309-673-5144. Tell them we sent you, okay? And I'd also like to shout out SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video as well. Use promo code PlaybookSports on their website to get $20 off your first purchase of $30 or more. Let's get back to the video. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Playbook Sports Podcast. This is Nate coming at you guys, bringing a Miami Dolphins versus Seattle Seahawks preview matchup here. Miami 1-1, coming off of what can only be described as a brutal loss to Buffalo. Not only did we get absolutely manhandled, that's about as surprising as the sun coming up in the morning at this point. Honestly, they just absolutely own us, and Josh Allen is our father, so it is what it is. But not only did we lose, but we also lost our quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa, who is now on IR. Will miss the next 4 games, so we will be trotting out Skylar Thompson. Essentially, we cut Mike White this offseason. Now, was he separating himself from Skylar? I doubt it. I mean, I couldn't really see it. And so it was probably a combination of that and a money-saving move. You know, we saved a couple $1 million against the cap by cutting Mike White. If Skylar's going to give you the same production for a fraction of the cost, it just makes sense. That sort of tells me that the Dolphins are confident he can orchestrate this offense to at least competent. Not great. Not expecting fireworks here, but at least competent and not awful. Fingers crossed. Seattle Seahawks 2-0, coming off of an overtime winner in New England. Mike Macdonald undefeated as a head coach. Shout out Mike Macdonald. Geno Smith has looked solid, not spectacular. Seattle offense as a whole, honestly, if you look at the numbers, kind of uninspiring just in general. But that defense is rolling. We knew he would have them going. They've allowed 20 points in each game. Now, does that say about, who does that really say a lot about? The Seahawks defense for only allowing 20 points or their opponents, Denver and New England? Time will tell. Let's dive into this game. We're going to start with the injury report. Injury report as of Thursday's practice for Miami. You've got Teron Armstead, who did not participate on Wednesday. He is back in limited capacity on Thursday, likely a full go. Whereas we've also had guys like Robert Jones, who was limited, full go. Jalen Phillips, full go. Jeff Wilson and Calais Campbell, who was just a rest day. So Dolphins, honestly, not super banged up as for players not on IR. Seattle, though, I mean, this is a straight-up laundry list, man. This is a lot of players, and you guys can see it on the screen. Ignoring the resting players, you got Uchenna Nwosu, one of their pass rushers who has not practiced at all this week. Jaron Reed, listed knee/rest, went from full to did not participate, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. Did he rest and not practice today, or is it his knee? I don't know. You've got Kenneth Walker, starting running back, has not practiced at all this week either, trending towards being unable to go. And Jerome Baker, hamstring injury, is now upgraded to limited, which is better than nothing for him. Would love to see him play against his former team. Obviously, I always like Jerome Baker, no ill will here. Really big ones, DK Metcalf went from a did not participate with a hand injury to a full participant. That's huge. Tyler Lockett is still limited. That's 2 of their top three wide receivers all popping up on the injury list in some capacity, both practicing in a limited fashion or not practicing yesterday and then practicing today. So obviously both teams banged up. But the Seahawks, man, that is a list of players. That is crazy. Let's get into the X factors for this football game. I'm going to start with Miami on offense. I'm going with running back Devon Achane. You have got to be able to run the ball in this game for obvious reasons. Achane also, however, has quietly put together an excellent season as a receiving back. He is tied for 5th in the NFL in total receptions with 14. He's gotten 7 catches in each game. Assuming Miami's game plan is going to be quick passes and Seattle does everything that they can to take away Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, I'm expecting a lot out of Devon Achane. He's going to catch these short passes because we're going to be one read and dump off, right? Skylar Thompson's going to drop back, and if the first guy he's supposed to look at isn't there, he's going to turn to his left and dump it off to Devon Achane. Can Devon Achane break it for 80 yards? Absolutely. Is he going to get tackled in the backfield? Who knows? I hope not. But it's on him. He can determine this game. If he breaks a couple tackles and breaks some long ones, he could get the momentum in our favor for sure. Defensively, I'm probably going to surprise you guys with my choice. I'm going with slot corner Kader Kohu, and it makes more sense when I tell you Seattle's offensive X factor in this game is slot wide receiver Jackson Smith and Jigba. Kind of a 2-for-1. It's an X factor battle, and it will truthfully dictate this game. that he's the wide receiver that concerns me the most for them. The boundary is going to be a battle. Jalen Ramsey versus DK Metcalf and Kendall Fuller versus Tyler Lockett. Tyler Lockett's banged up. DK Metcalf is banged up. It's going to be a lot of Jackson Smith and Jigba, man. And Kader Kohou is going to draw him in the slot. That is his position. He is our slot corner. If he can slow him down, that would be huge. That matchup might decide the game. If Jackson, if he's allowed to dominate in the middle of the field and underneath and just make play after play after play, we're doomed, right? He is going to cook us. But if Kader Kohou can step up and slow him down, Dolphins take away their primary weapon, and then they have to just run it with the backup and some injured offensive linemen too. Could be huge. Defensively for Seattle, I'm going with Leonard Williams. Per PFF, he's played as the 4th best interior defensive lineman this season. That is crazy to me because I would never expect Leonard Williams to still be playing at that high of a level at this point in his career. But hey, it is what it is. If Miami's interior offensive line struggles against Leonard Williams, that's going to put us behind the sticks, right? If we're running into him, and now it's 2nd and 9. Now it's third and 7, right? An obvious drop back position. You're trusting Skylar Thompson to get it done, and that is not a recipe for success, people. So you've got to slow Leonard Williams down. He can completely dictate this game on that side of the ball if we're not careful. 5 keys to a Miami Dolphins victory this Sunday. Number 1 is adapt. Hey, Mike McDaniel, I love you. I'm a huge Mike McDaniel fan. Bad news, though, buddy. League-wide, 2 high safety is being played more than it's ever been played before. And that is bad news for us because we love to go deep against the single high safety looks. Time to adapt. It's time to change it up. What do you do against double safeties? Attack the middle of the field. Try and split them if you can, and you got to take the underneath stuff. If they're going to play the too high shell coverage, you've got to attack the underneath stuff. Take what they're giving you. I know it's been fun in the NFL to hit these deep shots to Tyreek and Jalen Waddle your entire career as a head coach. You've got to adapt. I'd much rather win, even if it's ugly and playing with short plays, than lose in beautiful fashion. Who gives a shit how good it looked if you lost? I don't care. You've got to adapt. Time to make some changes. Number 2, get some push up front. Get the buffet boys going. I need these guys to play a little angry, man. I am so sick to death of being a weak finesse-style team. I'm so sick of our offensive linemen just getting bullied by everybody we play with that's just a little bit physical. If they are just even like Bills, just a little bit physical, absolutely dominated our offensive line. I'm so sick of that. I'm just so sick of it. Please get some push. Get pissed off. You just got bullied by the Bills and the Jags, to be totally honest with you. Gotta go. Gotta go. Time to figure it out, fellas. You guys are in the NFL. You are the big guys up front. You've got to move some people. Key number 3 is going to be pressure Geno. Geno's been sacked 5 times this season, and even with Charles Cross playing at an elite level at left tackle, PFF's number 1 tackle so far this season, they do have question marks on this offensive line. George Fant, their right tackle, is playing hurt. He's been injured. He was a limited participant in practice today, so maybe he can go, maybe he can't. Either way, there's other holes along this offensive line. We've got to exploit them. Got to get home and make Geno uncomfortable back there. Key number 4 is going to be limit the mistakes. Cannot lose a turnover battle and expect to win. You just can't. It's such a hard thing to do in the NFL, especially with your backup quarterback playing. So far, in that rings very true for Miami. Jacksonville won the turnover differential +1. Bills lost it by 3. Don't beat yourself. Don't hold when we get a huge opportunity to pick up a great play. Don't beat yourself. Limit the mistakes. Play smart football. And key number 5, like it was all year last year, and I'm starting it off. I'm going to get bigger as it goes, but it's run the ball, right? It's run the ball. You do not have your quarterback. Your offensive line got absolutely brutalized last week by the Buffalo Bills pass rush. You think that Mike McDonald isn't ready to send the hounds after Skylar Thompson? You're fooling yourself. How do you protect him from the pass rush? How do you protect your quarterback from a vicious pass rush that's just hunting him? You've got to run the ball. Established run. Make them hesitate. Make them think, I've got to stop the run first and then go get the quarterback. Giving Skylar Thompson even that extra second, even that extra half a second could be the difference between an interception and a touchdown. It really could. You've got to run the ball effectively, establish the run game, prove to us as fans, prove to the NFL that you can be a physical team. You can get in the phone booth and fight. Please stop breakdancing and get into this fist fight and win this one. Game prediction. It is hard to pick this one because, yes, Miami lost Tua, and they got manhandled by the Bills, and Seattle's 2-0. Everything feels like it's pointing towards Seattle. But when you look at Seattle's victories, they beat Bo Nix by 6 points. They beat the Broncos by 6 points in Seattle. Bo Nix has not thrown a touchdown pass, and he's thrown 4 interceptions. Not exactly lighting the league on fire, is he? And then they beat Jacoby Brissett and the New England Patriots in overtime. It took them to overtime to win that football game. Miami has better rosters than both of those teams, even with Skylar Thompson playing quarterback. Skylar Thompson, I'm not going to say he's better than Bo Nix, but I'm not going to say he's not better than Bo Nix. And same thing with Jacoby Brissett. And then our roster is better than Denver's roster, and it's better than New England's roster by a bit. And the Seahawks barely escaped both those games. They probably had a good handle on the Denver game in all fairness, but they escaped the Patriots, and they could very easily be 0-2 as opposed to 2-0. And that injury list is brutal. In an ugly, likely, low-scoring game, y'all know I'm taking the Dolphins to win this football game. I need it. The offense will be simplified, hopefully, for Skylar Thompson to run. It's going to be day one install stuff. I'm okay with going up-tempo half the game. Get the defense on their back heels and just attack them. I'm okay with that. Skylar Thompson's been in this system for 3 years now. If he doesn't know it now, he's never going to know it. I don't think we have to dial back the offense too much, but let's simplify it. Get him some quick, easy timing throws to get him in a rhythm and get the offense moving. And let's just dominate time of possession and dominate up front. Please and thank you. I believe in you, Miami. No doubt I am ready to get hurt again.
No question about it. I am ready to get hurt again.
Cannot wait. Final score prediction, Miami 20, Seattle Seahawks 16. That's it for today's Dolphins preview video. We will see you guys Monday. Hopefully it's a Victory Monday where we review what we saw this weekend. We'll see you guys then.